Good day, YouTube. I know it's been a while. My apologies for that. But first of all, I really want to explain myself on this matter. What you don't want is to be trying to do God's work and duties and life gets in the way, where your duties are not done as well, or you're not taking care of business, that certain thing. Like with me recently, I didn't want to, once again, pollute God's word, do anything wrong with it. So I had to make sure that I was right before I came back mentally. Because yes, we all have our family issues, and I know I shouldn't admit, maybe I should, but I'll admit that I'm imperfect on that matter. There's many preachers that you will see, like T.D. Jakes, so many preachers, Bishop T.D. Jakes, Pastor Rush, Joel Osteen, Joyce Meyer, all these people that you will see preaching. You think they ain't got a hard life at home? 90% of the time, it's kind of hard, you know? But they've mastered how to put that stuff away and compartmentalize it and do what they need to do regardless of what they're feeling. And I'll honestly, I have not reached that stage yet, but I see now that that's something I have to work on, because I can't keep going MIA on God like this. And it's crucial in your spiritual walk, even as walkers, not even just for the preachers, but for people of the church, because they hurting them, because they so down and destroyed by this temptation. They need to be rebuilt and things of that nature. It's all about compartmentalizing. But yes, enough of that. I just gotta master that, and I'll be as steady as I can be with these segments until I can get myself corrected. But I'm growing. Question is, are y'all? So what is the segment about today? Some of these will not even be out the Bible. Like right now, it's not out the Bible. And I warn you now, this may be, correction, it is the last segment of season 2. I want to do a movie after season 2. Like a movie where I'm recording with the same software you see in front of you. A movie where I will have scenes in there with different actors that you may or may not be familiar with, as in people you know that's walking around. I'm not finna go get The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin in them. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about people you may know from school, people you grew up with, people you kind of can vibe with, that you understand. Okay, now a movie that displays everything I've preached and talked about in these segments, and displaying things like temptation that come to pass. A legit movie based off the Spiritual Waltz, where you'll see everything I preached about come into effect and into play in that movie. What happens if you do, and what happens if you don't do, that kind of thing. As well as, after I do that movie, I want to jump on season 3 right after. I don't even want to wait. Right now I'm just having this fire in me, and I know it's a God-given fire, just to start going and blow away on these segments. Just go, hitting them back to back. So back to the topic, which is being yourself, being original, things of that nature. As we've all heard before, we know most people in this society want to be what they see on TV. They want to be this person, they want to be that person, when you can just be your own person and who God called you to be, and realize your uniqueness. And being yourself is more important than people give credit for. I mean, it plays in all aspects of life. Like, It's stunning, but I see this all the time. Females put on this front to attract a certain guy. Then they get the guy and find out it's not who they like. It's not what they want. But they had this fake on to attract him. Then the real comes out and he leaves. And then you're looking for a man that fits you, the one that God is supposed to be sending to you, but you started putting on fakes, attracting all the wrong ones. The real you is going to attract who God sent to you. Let's not let this turn into a rant, but this is what I see. It's not even nothing to be mad about. Just calm down. But seriously, the fake you, how you gonna pray for God to work on you to help you grow and things of that nature, and you gonna keep being fake and not the real you? He ain't finna help you be fake. I'm sorry. He ain't finna help you become in reality who you are in the fake. He's not finna do that. If you're gonna go to him, you're gonna have to be who he called you to be. It's a chain reaction. Like, people trying to fit in. Nowadays it's all about fitting in, right? So you try to do everything you see other people doing. And in this, people end up, here's the side effects of trying to be what you're not. People end up dead. Feelings end up broke. Just hurt. Just feelings end up hurt. Hearts end up broken. Things of that nature. Like a woman who thought you were who she wanted. Like I said, she put on the fake for you, but you put on the fake for her to make her want you. And y'all done both played the fake game. Then when the real come out, it's like, we wasn't nowhere near meant for each other. But get this. Two people to put on the fake. This has happened before. Two people to put on a fake to attract each other when the real them would have been attracted anyway. What are you faking for? I tell you what, that probably would have still been together had you been real from the get-go. That's why some females, I see this all the time, they're churchgoers. And even though they're churchgoers, what happens is they try not to appeal is that to some guys that they think look good, that they're trying to attract. And they won't wear they got a bracelet with a cross on it, they got a chain with a cross on it or something like that, little necklace with a cross on it. You know, they got church shirts, all that kind of stuff like this with the crosses on it. I've been guilty of this, so I know. Stop wearing this because, and all my other godly shirts, because, you know, I wanted to fit in with this crowd. Or this female, I didn't know where her spiritual level was. If I told her who I was, I wouldn't be able to talk to her. It goes back to being real from the get-go. I'm like, you know what, being fake, I ain't getting nowhere. I'm sorry. Nowhere but in more hurt and more disappointment and more shame. Being real. Being real is one and one with, being your real self. You see, as far as fitting in, I believe sagging pants is one of the biggest. Now, I know I talked about sagging pants before, but I'm using it as an example now. Sagging pants as a way most people fit in. If you got your pants pulled up, how you think people looking at you nowadays? Your casual people or old school people looking at you like he's a respectable young man. That's how they look at me. And I heard this from them a lot. I talk to them, and some of them don't bother to hold back how they feel about me. Some of them don't bother to hold it back. They think I'm a respectable young man and I'm a gentleman. Thank you. I wear that as a badge of honor. Now, you got these young men around who got their pants sagging, cussing out old folks. Just mean for no apparent reason. They wasn't born like that now. It was a learned behavior. which that's another segment for another time. Parenting and things of that nature. That's way down the line. Maybe season 3. It could be a even unforeseen season 4. We don't know yet, but we're not finna jump the gun. But as far as it goes back to being followers, I mean, don't nobody want to be original no more. They want to be what attracts guys nowadays. They want to be what attracts all the women. They want to have money. That attracts a lot of women, because women are now lovers of money. The love of money is the root to all evil. I believe that's, yeah, you've heard that a lot. That's in the Bible. Now, people get it twisted nowadays, talking about money is the root of all evil. No, the love of money. You see a bunch of preachers got money. You trying to say they're evil? No, sorry. No, this is no. But understand if they love it. Now, if they say they love it, the day you hear them say they love it, just wait and see how long it takes for God to take them down. Because you know what? His representatives can't be living like that. Sorry. They can't be living out everything the Bible speaks against, and then trying to come preach it to people like they living it themselves. It happens a lot nowadays. I know we ain't perfect. We all human. But what we don't want is for people to use the fact that they're not perfect as an excuse. They keep letting themselves off easy. They're not holding each other accountable. What we need nowadays is accountability. Accountability keeps you in check. You see, it's like the people who see you trying to get over an addiction, like a drug addiction or something like that. They hold you accountable if you slip up a day. It's the same thing in your spiritual walk. Yeah, the first few times it happened, yeah, it's okay, it's alright, you know, we all slip up and make mistakes. But when you're doing it over and over, held accountable you need to be. Because being held accountable motivates, believe it or not. I tell you what, say if God said you can sin as much as you want down here, you ain't finna be held accountable. Sin as much as you want, you still finna get into heaven. How many people you think could be doing right? That's all I'm saying. Don't you know this world be trash? If you can go kill somebody, still going to heaven? Oh man, that's like, what movie was that I heard? The Purge or something everybody was talking about. Killing made legal for 24 hours. You know how many killings finna happen? You see what I'm saying? Accountability. That's the effect it has. Accountability motivates you to do right. It makes you feel like you have an obligation to do something, like you're responsible for it. That's what accountability does. But if you're not held accountable, you don't care. So it's important, people, to get friends who hold you accountable. When they see you slipping up, of course, when they see you slipping up, I'm not saying they need to just be all in your back and stabbing you and everything else. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, like, they need to come at you like, you knew better, you knew what you did, let us pray about it. They work with you to get you to where you need to be, but they'll tell you what you're doing is not okay. Accountable. They'll put it in you like, I mean, she my friend, she hurt my feelings. I mean, she didn't have to tell me like that. You need some of that tough love. That hit you in the shape. It's called discipline. Accountability, discipline, all that, self-control, all of that is coming into one as I speak. Don't it sound like it? It's all coming into one. Accountability. Take account for your own actions. So, before we got into accountability and all that, back to the root of being yourself. But you see, it goes from you being yourself to everything I just stated. People end up in jail and everything else because they were trying to impress some people. Guys who try to impress other dudes just to fit in and talking about, oh, you ain't cool, go rob that store, and you go do it to prove you cool. No, don't do that. You just gave your life away trying to appeal to them in the wrong way. You trying to fit in with the wrong crowd, buddy. Tell you what, the real way to fit in is not even try. That way you fit in with the right people. Cause you ain't gotta try to fit in with who you gonna fit in with already. It's like a puzzle. If it don't fit, you can keep trying. But no matter how you do it, it seems like it fit. But when you try to put the whole piece together, the whole puzzle, something's still out of place. But it's so simple when it's the right piece. When you're supposed to fit in, you'll fit in. But if you're not supposed to, you finna have all kinds of trouble. So, being yourself is number one priority. Now, some people, they say it really is they self to be hostile and to be all that. That was a learned behavior. You learn that from watching movies over and over. You learn that from watching TV. You learn that from seeing how other people do stuff. It became a learned behavior. Being yourself goes back to who you really were. We talking about as a kid. As a kid, I was just the most friendly. I mean, man, I'm trying to get back to that. Wouldn't harm a fly. Was so timid. I was quiet. All that kind of stuff. Then life happened. And it's shaping me. It's shaping me hard. Do you hear me? It's getting me. But at the same time, as life is happening, God is shaping me up too. Into who I'm supposed to be. And I have a feeling that friendly side of me that I once had, I see signs of it returning now, but it's going to return full throttle before I know it. I feel it. So, being yourself. Get back with yourself, please. Don't stray away from who you are. For the people. I mean, for people's acceptance. I believe Lecrae was saying something about that on his song. You live for their acceptance. You die from their rejection. That's what it feels like. People living for other people's acceptance. You die from their rejection. The man in the mirror can't even see his reflection. He don't even know who he is. Woo, boy. And that's the truth. You've been living the fake for so long, you don't even know who the real you is anymore. It's very important to be yourself. Who God designed you to be. It's part of all of our doing. He intended for us to see somebody else and say, I want to be just like them. But what appeals to the eyes, money and all that other stuff you see on TV now, it makes you want it. And your thoughts become spoiled. And then you want to be spoiled. Like your thoughts insist. Your thoughts insist that's cool, you're supposed to have that. You had a spoiled brain, then you got you being spoiled right after. And don't let it get into your heart, because then that's when you're going to believe, hey, I'm supposed to be spoiled. And when you don't get spoiled and don't get what you want, then you go out of control. Like a little kid who got spoiled. They grow up and think they're supposed to have it all their way. Don't spoil yourself. Sometimes you need that rejection to be reminded you can't have everything. Sometimes you need to reject yourself. On many occasions, we need to reject ourselves. And you know what? As cold as it may seem, here's what some of us need to do to some of our friends. Now, don't say this ain't from God. This is shaping you up. Alright? Now, this is part of shaping you up. I would like for some of y'all to try this. You got a situation. And there's money in it. There's money involved in it. You can't pay for this. You know there's that friend that'll pay for this. That'll get this off your back. If you did not have that friend, what would you do? You'd be on your knees praying and everything else. Just like Steve Harvey said in one of his comedy shows. If you didn't have my number, what would you do? Then please get to doing it. You see, we gotta start depending on people so much, because one day people aren't gonna be there, and if all we did was depend on them, then we're in trouble. God needs to be the one who we depending on, because He's always there. Let Him work His magic in your life. It'll build you up. It's a building factor. So now I'm saying say that ain't from God. Trust me. Some people like, man, I mean, if I need help, I'm gonna go get help. You know, I'm gonna just, you know, and that's why this generation's weak. They weak, baby. We weak. This generation. We ain't as strong as we should be. We be mentally stronger and everything else if we focused on our spiritual walk from a young age. Some don't know what church is. Believe it or not, there are some people who don't even know who God is. There's many of them who don't believe He even exists. Sadly. It's best to start from a young age. But if you didn't start from a young age, it's not too late to start now. In all honesty, yes, it will be harder. You're accustomed to a way of living. But, and then people talking about, but you just said be yourself. I didn't mean in that instance. I meant in a spiritual instance of who you really are. I don't mean be yourself if you're bad. If that's the case, then yes, change, please. I mean, don't keep being bad, but we all know what's right and what's wrong. And sometimes we need to learn to hold ourselves accountable for it. So my question to y'all as I close is, today, from this day forward, will you hold yourself accountable for everything that you do wrong? The next step is forgive yourself that you did it wrong, and do what you need to do and what is necessary and focus to make sure it does not happen again. %90 of the time we say it ain't gonna happen again and it happens again. That's part of that good old spiritual walk. You were feeling strong about it one day, then another day you feel so weak. You feel strong about it when you done did it. After you done did it, you get done with it and you feel ashamed. Like people who having sex before marriage. During a sexual encounter, yes, it's so great. But then afterwards, there's that fall that you feel in your spirit, and you feel so tore down. Anything in a lustful and adulterous state, you feel it. You sinned against your own self. It says that in the Bible. You sin against your own spirit, sin against His own body. That's what you're doing. Sin against your own body, and you feel it afterwards. And yeah, when we get done with it, we feel so hurt and so low. I ain't doing this no more. Then give it about a week or two, and that temptation is just where it was, and we fall again. Living testimony right here. Ways to avoid that is part of your test. Let me give you a piece of advice. Do not ask God to take you out of your situation. Ask Him to give you strength to push through anything that comes before you. Because you know what? You can't expect results in your spiritual walk. He has got to grow you. He has got to whip you into shape. And therefore, in your spiritual walk, if He lightens up the walk, you're not getting much results. If you have a dumbbell, if you got 215s going, it's working for a while, but you got to do more to get results. Therefore, your walk has to get harder. It's not going to get easier. I warn you now. But as you go, you'll have more tools to do what you need to do. He'll make sure you're equipped for it. You're not going to have the same tools you had when you started. Along the way, He's going to help you out. Y'all like video games? It's called leveling up. You level up, you get better, but it gets harder. Praying for God to make it easy is not going to help us at all. We got to get stronger. So to all you out there, and what you're watching this segment, I pray that this segment touched your heart. I pray that you got something out of it, most definitely. Oh yes sir, and oh yes ma'am. Pray that you got something out of it for real. Keep this in mind whenever you're going through something. You're never alone. God sees everything that you go through, and He wouldn't let you go through it if He wasn't going to take you out of it. Something to remember. And also, keep in mind, some of us stop our walk, our spiritual walk, for a moment, trying to find ourselves. We found ourselves. It's just the fact that we're trying to get rid of our old selves that's hurting, and that's why we stop. But think about it this way. Most of the times when you sitting there and you got yourself found and you just struggling, pray to God, but also pray for the person next to you, because the person next to you probably ain't even found themselves yet. You in better shape than they are. When it comes to spiritual walk, you're in better shape at the moment. And if you know some people who aren't where you are, my words to you are, pull them in. Don't leave anybody out. Pull them all in. Do the best you can. But this has been another episode of the Spiritual Waltz. I pray that everything's been going well with y'all. I know it's been a while since I checked in with y'all, but you know, if I didn't have good reason, I wouldn't do it, because I ain't finna play with God's work. Amen. And that's just the truth. So to all you out there, I bid you a farewell. If you like this segment, hey, high five. Alright, now. I'll see you all season 3. But of course, there is also a movie. Look on my YouTube channel for updates on that. I'll be updating you with it. I may even do trailers and previews like a legit movie. This is going to look real. Trust me. And this is not going to be a short process. It's going to be a while. I got to see who's willing to act in the movie, do the script, and who's willing to act out these scripts, who's going to play what roles and things of that nature. But this is going to be a great movie. Y'all pay attention. Alright? Have a good day.